So, as a therapist, I really see both sides of things in life and with the world. Um, I see a lot of stuff that is actually kind of scary, kind of terrifying, but I also see a lot of positives. I'm proud of my work. I do often find it rewarding, gratifying, important. I'm very invested in my line of work. But the truth of the matter is, there are predatory people in the world. And unfortunately, my line of work, especially because I'm the type of therapist that has been, I've always been kind of a trench worker. I've always taken on very difficult cases. I've always been given difficult cases. Employers figured out basically that I could take tough cases and I would get a lot of them at different jobs, and which made it for a rough go, but it also made me very, very experienced and unfortunately gave me an education that I mean, it's like when you see certain things in the world, you can't go back. You just can't go back. And there are people in the world who are predators. Now, unfortunately, I think that there is an undercurrent in our culture that um, I don't know. The culture is very confusing. And I'm here to tell you from experience, there are absolutely predators in the world. And I first came into very, very close range with juvenile sex offenders and seeing there, I had kids that I worked with who were highly predatory. And so I got a real education on some of their tactics and how they work. Most times, those kids perpetrated on by somebody else. Most of the time, probably 9 out of 10 times. I mean, an 11-year-old just doesn't wake up one day and be like, "Hey, I'm going to do something nasty to my sister today." It's usually because they were exposed to it somehow, right? But the world is definitely full of predators, and predators have very specific tactics. Now, if you have ever seen a nature show, where nature shows, right, there's a predator, and what are their tactics? How do they operate? What helps them get a kill, right? And a lot of times, predators will try to find the ones that are weak. And okay, so finding the weak ones or ones that they perceive to be weak. Second is to separate them from the herd. Because the weak ones, the small ones, the young ones, if they can get them separated from the herd, I mean, you even see this in the ocean. Orcas will separate a calf from the adult full-grown whale, so that they can do their thing, be predators. um, and it's fascinating to see predators in nature and predators in real life. Okay, so if you want to protect yourself from predators, you kind of have to reverse engineer this, right? So number one is if you are weak or you perceive yourself to be weak, or perhaps predators perceive you to be weak, then they're going to find you. It's just a sixth sense. Predators have this sixth sense. I've seen situations where predators deliberately go to codependent meetings. They go to Al-Anon meetings. They're looking for people who are codependent, who have been perpetrated on before. They're looking for those people, and they go there and say, "Oh yeah, my dad's an alcoholic," when they're actually looking for someone that they can prey on, which is really sick. But man, you show me a nest full of mice, and I'll show you a snake trying to get in there. That's just the reality of the world. And so my first tip to avoiding predators is to become strong. Now, I mean, just the fact of the matter is, becoming physically stronger will help you become mentally stronger. And I've seen those who have been perpetrated on, and I'm just thinking of one person in particular right now that I'm working with that just has this tiny little, and just this soft stance and avoids eye contact and talks very quietly and squeaky, housey little voice. And I've tried to tell this person, like, you have to do your best to appear strong. You got to sit up straight. You got to put your shoulders back. You got to hold your head up, and that automatically makes you look a little bit more threatening. But if you crumple into this little ball and talk in a squeaky little voice, you may pull them in like a magnet. You may pull in bad situations like a magnet. So predators look for that. Um, being And so predators will also try to separate you from the herd, separate you from the group. If you've ever been in a relationship with someone who is predatory, maybe they're narcissistic, antisocial, or borderline, and especially those who are narcissistic and borderline, I don't think that they deliberately come across as predatory, but they definitely separate you from the herd. They're extremely threatened by other members of your circles. So they separate you from your family, your friends, your other groups, very threatened by them. So anyone that tries to separate you from the herd or the strength of the group may be predatory in some way, shape, or form. Okay. Now, there are other tactics, but in order to avoid becoming, or in order to, chase away predators or protect yourself from predators, you got to be strong. And I was talking to a gentleman recently who was a therapist, and he was talking about how he had taken women who had severe sexual trauma in their childhood and taught them Muay Thai, which is a martial art, and showing them how strong they could be, and it just changed them. Okay, I mean, lift weights, take a martial art, become physically stronger, and you will feel mentally stronger. Trauma tends to trap us in a place where we feel small and helpless and powerless, and then we'll act accordingly. Okay. By the way, another thing that draws in predators, the constant apologizing and the going over the top to be nice. Okay. At some point, there's over apologizing. And predators often there's the grooming process. They start with a little bit of a boundary crossing, and they want to see if a person does anything about it. Like if they go, well, that was rude, bye, right? Or if they oh, I guess I'll take it from you because I'm just trying to be nice. Man, that signals to a predator. Strong boundaries. You have to give yourself permission to not take disrespect from strangers. Okay. But once again, stop apologizing. Make yourself strong and remain with the strength of the herd. I mean, those are 3 quick, easy things that you can do to avoid predators. And truth be told, too, don't put yourself in places where predators commonly hang out. And you just have to learn to protect yourself sometimes. So thanks for watching. It's just really important for people to learn to identify and avoid predators. So take care. Thanks for watching.